just as we started this conversation, do you know how many texts and tweets and comments and all of this have said, well, yeah, I would trade the pick if you pair it with pods.
Oh, wow.
And then send it to blank, whatever.
Podziemski.
Hey, John. Hey, John, how about Uranus?
So now,
John, why don't you try Uranus?
Now the Warriors are going to move up in the lottery, and the first reaction from some Warriors fans is, great, it's an opportunity to trade pods.
That's just mean-spirited.
Kissy kid.
I'm telling you, y'all
Podziemski.
Podziemski.
We need some therapy or something. We need some therapy sessions. We need some group therapy sessions.
Yeah? Need to hug it out?
Well, we're going to have to fix this somehow.
I thought that maybe a little bit more distance and more perspective would help the situation, because this is not a first baseman making $30 million a year for the next 7 years underperforming. This is not a wide receiver who you paid $30 million a year who decided not to show up in rehab and has never been heard from again. This is a homegrown guy who twirls his finger too much, flops his head back too much, shoots too much, and thinks too much of himself, making $5 million, who played every damn game and contributed all 84 games you played. He laced him up and he played, and he makes $5.6 million. So I don't know, Mark, maybe we can all step back and realize he's not a star. He's a good player, and he makes nothing, and he shows up.
And we don't want to slip and fall into this.
No, we don't.
Bucket hole. But you did just give me an idea.
Yeah.
We could do this at some point, like next week maybe or something like that. We need to come up with a list of Bay Area athletes you should be more mad at than Pods.
I like that. It's a long list.
It ain't short.
No, it's not.
The whole Giants roster,
okay,
other than Casey Schmidt.
Start there.
Not bad.
Put some respect on Landon Roop's name.
You're right, true. And Luis Ariz.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Look at you.
Oh, wow.
Look who's turned over that new leaf.
I mean, you can't be mad at him.
Speaking of therapy.
Yeah.
That guy that was talking there on the radio a second ago used to actually hold group sessions to see if they could stop Luis Ariz from arriving at the airport.
Shut up.
Facts.
He didn't want him to arrive. He's trying to block it.
I shouldn't have said it. Move on.
Caught you in the middle of a sip.
You did.
It's good. Elite.
But yeah, that would not be a short list.
Nope.
Bay Area athletes you should be more upset with than Pods.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, trading the pick, and I was going through this with you during the break. If you want to look at the history of top fours, and I've been pouring over some of the names. 2009, you had Blake Griffin, Hasheem Thabeet went number 2. James Harden went 3, and then Tyreek Evans, rookie of the year, and not much else. So there's a top 4 that was shaky. The chef fell to 7. Thank God he did.
I can promise you right now, I'd make this bet with you. You know, this is it's a great draft, right? I'll bet you right now one of these top 4 is a bust. At least.
Historically,
I will bet, and I know
won't take that bet.
We would have to define bust, but you know what I mean.
It's pretty easy when you look historically, and I'm looking at 2013. Anthony Bennett went number 1 overall.
Bust.
Right. Victor Oladipo, not a bust at 2. Injury racked his career. Right. That's not a bust. Otto Porter went number 3, and then Cody Zeller at 4. Not a great top 4.
Nope.
But you can go through almost all these, and I was joking with you during the break. The LeBron draft, which went LeBron 1, Carmelo 3, Bosh 4, Dwayne Wade 5.
But who was number 2?
Darko Milicic. So in almost every top 4, like 2015, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Jahlil Okafor, Kristaps Porzingis.
I think, to me, D'Angelo Russell's a bust.
I don't think so.
As the number 2 pick of the draft.
Good long career.
Yeah.
Contributed to winning.
Sure.
But, I mean, the point is, can you find one of the 4? Jahlil Okafor, he'd be your 1.
Sure.
And then 2016, Ben Simmons went 1. Dragon Bender went number 4. So you can find examples. This draft is supposedly hella good.
Supposedly. Well, and I'm sure it is a good draft.
Yeah.
But it's not going to go 15 correct in a row. There might be 15 good players, but one of them might get drafted in the second round. You know, like they're not going to all work out. This is a tough question, man.
It's a tough call.
It is. But my baseline is with you. It is kind of harebrained, the idea, if you look at the Warriors' current lot in life, to be trading first-round picks. But there's not a one analyst that has come on this show or any other in the last 2 months and said anything other than Warriors will be shopping at the top floor.
Right. Well, and that's, I think, what the owner has dictated is going to be the way they approach things. They want to stay in the mix. They want to stay relevant. And if that means trading your pick, if you win the lottery and you jump up to the top 4, then that pick does become a lot more sexy for some certain teams that might be looking to, take 3 to 5 years of the rebuild.
Yep. Let's go to Joe in Burbank. Hi, Joe. Thank you for calling in. 888-957-9570. If the Warriors move up this weekend, is the pick on the table? What do you think, Joe?
Well, first of all, hi, Mark. Hi, Dan. Thanks for great shows as always.
Hi, Joe.
I wouldn't trade the pick under any condition because I think we need really good young players for the future of the franchise, and you're not going to get them unless you go through the draft more than likely. I can't believe that I'm still hearing Giannis and Kyrie. Giannis is an accident waiting to happen. He's got a ton of miles on him. He's been playing for 12 years. You're going to have to give up 4 picks for him and players. It's not worth the gamble. He gets hurt. He's been getting hurt more and more every year. Kawhi Leonard, another person that everyone says the Warriors going to go after. What a coincidence that Kawhi has played all these games this year. The reason he's played all these games is because he knows he's probably going to get traded, and he wants a big contract next time, so he's got to show people that he can play a lot. I just don't understand. I know a lot of Warrior fans, and I've been a Warrior fan for over 50 years. And I'm used to having to wait for a team to get better, to go through some tough times. And I love watching young players. When Steph joined the Warriors and then the next year with the Clay and Draymond, I was so pumped I didn't miss any games. So it's fun to watch the young players. And, you can't keep going with older players. We have too many older players right now. I know what you said, Dan. Mark, you said you don't know what you're going to get, but I'd rather have some young players that don't have quite as much upside, and try to find a player like Yaxel Lindenberg, who is NBA ready, and he's young and he can help Steph. So if you're asking me, I lean toward right about now looking at the franchise over the players, because players are going to come and go. I absolutely can never thank Steph and Draymond and Clay for all they did. I'll fly up there when they have days, get a hotel room, pay over what I should pay for the tickets.
No doubt.
I will definitely go when they're okay. Yeah. But I can't see trading picks.
Yeah, I get it, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks.
925
Dibs. I don't know what he's pointing to you. Dibs. If he can't pronounce Giannis, drop him.
Who, the caller?
Yeah.
Didn't he also call him Kyrie?
Or Kyrie. Kyrie Leonard.
Right.
Yeah.
Which,
I don't want to make fun of Joe.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We did make fun of Steiny for...
that's different.
Of Dija.
That's different. Abdijah.
Something.
Yeah. Denny Abdijah.
Yep.
Whatever. That's Steiny.
Yeah, and
that's our
he's
job
part of
to
the
make
family.
fun of him.
That's
yeah,
right.
Exactly. That's what we're doing. Anyway, Kawhi Leonard.
This guy is such a D.
Thank you, Steiny. Have a nice drive home. Kawhi Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Thank God he didn't try Antetokounmpo. I don't know what the hell would have happened there.
Antetokounmpo for 3.
Antetokounmpo for 3.
I just can't get enough of that.
Antetokounmpo for 3.
Mark Spears with us yesterday with regard to the Giannis trade market.
He thinks that they're going to figure out whatever is up with Giannis, before this draft. So that tells me that they're probably targeting some picks and they want to see how the draft lottery falls out, before determining, what they could do. So Sunday's a big day, not only to see who gets picked 1 through 5. Sunday's also a big day to see who might have a shot or has the sweetest pot to try to garner interest from Milwaukee for Giannis.
Okay, here's what actually kind of bugs me about this, and I'm going to put myself in the bucket too. Like actually right when we sat down to start the show, somebody had texted during the crossover coming down my road about the fact that when the Giants got Rafi Devers, I was super excited about it. Of course I was. And by the way, I still, in this moment, would probably do the deal again. Rafi Devers is Rafi Devers. We're at a certain moment in time, and that's a whole big conversation, and we have had it, and we will continue to have it. And I don't necessarily like to hang that around a fan's neck if you're excited about something and then it doesn't work out. We're all right and wrong a bunch of times a day, okay? So let's get that out there. Here's what I would say, though, about how that relates to Giannis. And I know this to be true. I bet you'll admit it, too. We can sit here today and be like, I don't want to do 4 first-round picks for Giannis. That sounds nuts. The Warriors are 4 first-round picks? I do not want to do that for Giannis. Okay. Now mimic how you'll react if they do.
I will be intrigued and excited because it's my team.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with Rafi Devers. And at the time, I thought, man, Kyle Harrison, he hasn't been great, but they surely thought highly of him. And Tibbs, same thing. Those are both top first-round picks. And so, but Rafi Devers, he's a proven commodity. We've seen what he can be. And it's similar but lesser when they got Chris Paul. I was more enthused than you were because you're not a huge fan. I'm not a big fan, but I thought, you know what? I'd like to see how this fits with the Warriors for 1 year. What's the harm in it? And then you see him play and it doesn't look great. And so you find out that there was no harm in it, but it wasn't that great a move. So if they do this with Giannis, I won't love it. But when he shows up the first time in that number 34 Warrior uniform, I'll be excited. Exactly. Because I'm a fan.
Exactly. And that's okay. Nobody's trying to criticize anyone here. But that is how I would answer this question. I would say I have no interest right now in trading first-round picks when your team is about to expire / maybe already did. I have no interest in trading first-round picks unless they do.
Right. And once they do, it's their decision. So
unless they do.
Yeah. And once they, yeah.
Because that's that's gonna get under your skin. To me, it's the exact same dynamic as if any of you met Pods on the street. It's the same thing would happen. You got no problem on Twitter. This little Steve Kerr's little kid and his floppy hair and his twirly finger. Okay, great. Now run into him on the street. Hey, Pods, can we get a picture?
Totally.
Can we get a picture? And so that's how we operate. That's great. I totally get it. But that's my answer. That's my answer. I do not want the Warriors shopping first-round picks. Unless they do.
Well, it comes down to
and that doesn't mean
whether or not you give up on your team if they make a move like that.
Doesn't mean that I'll think that it's the right move, but you'll be excited about it. If the Warriors get Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're going to be excited.
Well, and you were excited when the 49ers traded up and got Trey Lance, and I didn't know much about him. I didn't watch a lot of FCS football at the time, but I put my faith in the team that it's risky. You gave up 3 firsts to move up and get a first, and so you went up and got your guy. All right, you got your guy. Yeah. I'm excited. And even when Shasky and Vontae went out there and saw him throw for the first time, and he's making all the throws and he looked great, and they got even more excited. Yep. And that's okay because you're fans. And it doesn't mean that you have to ride or die with a player all the way through, but you can be excited. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's what would happen here as well. But at the same time, I think as we get ready for this, that's where part of the discussion goes next week. We'll arrive here Monday morning with an idea of where the Warriors pick, and then part of that is the whole draft analysis process. You know me, my favorite thing in the world. Yep. Make a pick and then give a grade
3 minutes after it happens. But part of it will be, who can the Warriors have for this pick? And that means one of two things. It doesn't just mean who could they draft. Who can the Warriors have with this pick? It might be a current NBA player. And history would suggest, that's the other thing that's funny. I think it feels like when someone says don't trade the pick, that they're the ones with their head kind of screwed on straight. They're not getting emotional. They're not getting swept away with the end of Steph's career. It feels very measured, right? But statistically, if you use a draft pick to get something that's already established in exchange, I would argue more often than not, like I have to see the data on this, but more often than not, that works out for the team that's getting the established product.
Depends what you're getting. And if you want to talk about the Christian McCaffrey trade, when you traded a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth, and you got Christian McCaffrey, well, that worked out well for you because those picks, I don't even know exactly offhand who they turned into, but McCaffrey's been amazing. So that was a net win. And the Giants traded, not picks, but unproven youngsters. And one of them is pitching well in the bigs, and the other one's knocking on the door in AAA. And the guy you got has not been terrific, certainly this year. And so that feels like a loss. And so when you want to talk about trading picks for proven, experienced players, well, the further up you go on the shelf, like you said, they're going top shelf. Well, that'll be this year's pick. If it's in the top 4, that's gone. And then the 2028 pick and the 2030 pick and maybe the 2032 pick and maybe a swap and you get Giannis. Okay, that's exciting. You still don't have Jimmy, and Steph is going to be 39. So I don't even know if it's really worth it.
Wow. I mean, this brings in some of what Draymond said on Inside the NBA last night. I mean, let's do this for a second. Listen to Draymond last night.
Jimmy's going to miss a lot of next year. Moses is going to miss a lot of next year. That's $70 million. $75 million of a $160 million payroll. So it's going to be tough. But make no mistake about it, the goal will always be to compete at a championship standard level. Whether we win a championship or not, I think as you get older, you have to redefine what's success, right? Still the most sellouts in the NBA. Still the most national TV games in the NBA. And you just want to give yourself a chance. Success may not be for us at this point a championship, right? That's the way it goes. And so I think understanding what is success at this point is key for us, knowing and understanding that it may not be realistic to win a championship, but can we continue to build to that so that once we leave this organization, it's still in a great space where they have that pedigree and they can try to build on that.
I mean, when he goes into the whole thing about redefining success and then starts talking about sellouts and national TV games.
It's an eye roll.
Well, I can feel people.
From a fan, it's an eye roll.
Right, I can feel people's shoulders getting a little bit tight.
I mean, it's cool that they have, almost 600 sellouts in a row. And I mean, that's awesome. That's really kind of a neat thing. But to me, that's success for the ownership.
Exactly. I mean, that sort of, it almost sounded like something that might have come out of that dinner at Joe Lacob's house. That part of the conversation.
Right.
And it makes a fan uncomfortable.
And for a fan, what that means is longer lines at the bathroom at halftime and longer lines at the concession stand.
And higher prices.
Right.
And I would, like, if I really wanted to get cynical about it, I think to a fan that almost feels like they're being used. Like, you're gonna define your success based on my behavior with my money?
Your attendance, yeah.
Like, if that's how you define success, don't ever trade another pick ever again. I mean, they're sitting there talking to Draymond about the idea of this whole thing being expired. If it's already expired, if it's already over, and so many of you think that, then the question actually becomes, why on earth would you ever consider trading a pick? Unless you believe that there's actually one human being out there who's so dynamic and so much in their prime that they could walk in and resuscitate this. That doesn't feel realistic to me.
It doesn't, and part of it is because of what Draymond said, where you've got Jimmy and Moses both gone for a long time into next year. I don't know if Moses is going to play at all with that injury. I mean, that usually is a year if you're lucky to make it back, so he might sit the whole year. And Jimmy Butler coming off the ACL, if it's 9 months, then it'll be November. If it's a full year, it's February. Hopefully it's somewhere in between. But even if you did get that one player, okay, you're joining a team without Jimmy till January and no Moses. So it's Steph. It's this transcendent player, and it's Draymond. It's the aforementioned Brandin Podziemski who's coming back, everybody. It's Guy and a bunch of youngsters and old guys again. That's not a good enough team. I don't think.
Well, my mind, and we've been talking about this around here a lot lately, and I do think that Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy and Steve Kerr are probably talking about this. It's not just, okay, if it's not just championship, well, let's just talk about your product. Like, how do you feel right now about the Warriors' product? I mean, if they're going to define success by sellouts, that's directly what we're talking about.
Right.
The product.
The product is Steph, which means 58 times out of a season, the product is phenomenal.
But what do you want to see Steph do? Do you just want to see him warm up? Do you want to see the occasional flurry? Do you want to?
I want to see him play basketball.
Do you want to see him largely healthy? Do you want to see him try to put the team on his shoulders?
Well, he can't anymore.
Okay,
I don't think.
So you want help?
Well, I mean, you want help, but not at the cost that it might potentially be, which is giving up multiple picks and multiple years worth of picks. Because as Draymond was saying there, you want to make sure that when you leave, you're leaving this place in a position where they can, get back to being good again.
I mean, are you ready to watch someone else?
Someone other than
Steph.
No, I'm not ready to.
You're not.
But it's going to happen.
Sure.
He has 1 year, 2 years, or maybe 3 years left. I can't imagine him playing 4 years.
I mean, but what if somebody else was the draw? What if somebody else was in an immediate form? What if somebody else was the draw? What if you get the number 1 pick, Tibbs?
Right.
What if you get number 1?
Then you draft DeBonsa.
Do you?
And
is that what you would do?
You put him down in Santa Cruz for a couple of years to really sharpen his game.
All right.